I don't know how you invest or actually how you look at pound. So pound weakness has an impact on exports. It also has an impact on the pound.
Yes.
But I guess it's pound volatility, which is the one that people really worry about.
Yes, I mean, if you look at the way political crises in emerging markets tend to affect their currencies, emerging market traders look at the volatility of the exchange rate, and when it starts to rise, they tend to short the currency, reduce their exposure, and wait for the dust to settle. And in some ways, that's easier than trying to read the political tea leaves in Brazil or Russia or Mexico or wherever. And what we're finding is increasingly people are looking at sterling.
Yeah.
And they're looking at volatility to work out when's a good time to reduce exposure.
Right, so let me bring you over to my chart. This basically brings it back to November 7th. So this is just before the US election. So we saw it almost at a bottom over the last couple of months 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And now it's a little bit back up. So what does this chart tracking 3 months pound volatility tell us?
Well, if you looked on a longer time scale, the last time you had a really serious rise in volatility was that October period when the pound dropped quite a long way versus the dollar. Recently, we had that sort of bit of a spike there you can see a couple of weeks ago, just a bit further back actually, sort of January sort of 15th. And
it felt, which is around here.
It felt a bit like the pound was going to have another negative phase there. But actually, we got some clarity from the government about what their strategy was, and the markets have calmed down again. But I think as these 2 years of really quite difficult negotiations carry on, there will be moments when the pound volatility picks up again.
So, Trevor, what exactly is priced in? What is priced in losing access to the single market?
Well, I would say at the moment the sterling exchange rate is kind of pretty stable. You see very low volatility compared to what we've seen recently. I think when we get to moments where the negotiations get difficult, and negotiations always get difficult, there will be times when volatility picks up and the pound takes another move down. But in the meantime, if the economy stays as strong as it's been, there's upward pressure on the pound as well. So it's kind of tricky. It feels like it could be drifting higher with occasional political setbacks.
Yeah, Trevor, when are you expecting a lot of CEOs to actually pull back investment from the UK, if indeed that's the case? Or does pound weakness make it more attractive?
Pound weakness is a very powerful thing, and you will see manufacturers investing. But on the other hand, I think you will get services in particular pulling back. So I think we're seeing the Bank of England's agent survey showing services in particular have got much more cautious post-Brexit, and we haven't seen the survey evidence post the hard Brexit and anti-single market position the government's now taking. So I think you will see service industries in particular starting to be more cautious. We're just seeing some of the banks say that they're going to move people elsewhere or build up staff elsewhere.